What's going on, everybody, and welcome to my new series that's going to be called Family Affair. So basically what we're going to do, this is more towards, I would say, early to mid-game accounts. This is going to be a series where we go through each person, each character in a specific family and see where you can use them, if they're good for the level that you are, things like that. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So here we go. Episode 1, Family Affair. The first family that we're going to do is going to be a free-to-play unit because obviously anybody can get them. They're the Efreet family that you can obtain through the guild shop. I believe that's the only spot. I know you can get the light one in the ancient coins, I believe. Ancient coin. Yeah, the light one is in the ancient coin, but we're going to go through each one and say whether or not they're good for, remember, this is early to mid game. Okay, so the first one is going to be the Fire Efreet Tessarion. Now, Tessarion I feel like is a good unit. Later on, early game, you're not really going to use him too much. Mid game, he becomes a little bit more viable as you get deeper into Guild Wars and Siege. Maybe even dabble your feet, twinkle your feet a little bit into some RTA. But Tessarion is good because, yeah, he does the first skill, all the Efreets, Mega Smash, extra damage according to your attack speed, so you want some speed on these units. Second skill, Triple Crush, allows you to defense break, but what makes Tessarion special is his passive, Ancient Power, decreases the damage dealt from enemies with no harmful effects by 30% and increases the damage inflicted on enemies with harmful effects by 30%, makes an enemy oblivious for 2 turns. So that's where he shines. He lands Oblivion, which makes it to where the opponent that has the Oblivion on them cannot use their passive skills. So for things like Triana, whose passive skill is to keep somebody alive on a killing blow, that's nullified. Things like Perna, whose passive is to keep himself alive or to revive himself when he goes down with a killing blow, that kills that. So you only have to kill Perna once if you land the Oblivion on. So like I said, early game, I don't think you're going to use them too much because in the early game you're doing giants, a lot of giants, and some dragons and whatnot. You don't really need the Oblivion. He's not going to really benefit there. He does have a leader skill of resistance, accuracy resistance, but he's not really going to be too much of a unit for you early game. Mid game, you can start dabbling in because you're going to get into Guild Wars, you're going to get into Siege where people start using these units with passives where he'll shine a little bit more, and you can get into a little bit of RTA where he's more relevant, where you can use him a little bit. So I would say out of 10, I would give him, early game, I'd give him like a 3. Mid game, I'd give him like a 7-ish, maybe 7.5. So that's the Fire Efreet. Water Efreet, Theomars. I think he's probably going to be the most useful one out of all of these early game. There's an argument that you can make with the dark one, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But Theomars hits like a truck. Same, like I said, all of them have the same one, Mega Smash, extra damage on speed. Triple Crush, same as Tessarion, the fire one. Defense break with the second skill. His passive always gains a tribute advantage when attacking an enemy, so he's always got the advantage, which is big time in the early game and mid game because you know it's hard to get all the stats you need when you're early and mid game because your runes aren't quite efficient enough. So it's hard to get everything, including crit rate. This allows you to have the advantage, gain the extra 15% of crit rate, and do crit more often. And also, when you receive fatal attacks, you will be immune to death for 1 turn. So he gets this endure buff that allows him not to die, and it gives you another chance to hit the opponent. So it basically just gives you an extra shot to try to survive and try to get through it and get some more damage pumped out before you drop. And then his leader skill is crit rate leader skill as well with 24%. So you have a big chance to gain a lot of crit rate for your entire team with Theomars early on. So I would say he's good in Giants. He's good in Dragons because of the element advantage. But either way, it doesn't matter anyway. He has element advantage. And in mid-game, he's great in Guild Wars, great in Siege battles. And he can even dabble into some RTA if you build him right around the right comps. I would say more or less not so much in RTA. But early game, I would give him a solid 8 out of 10, if not maybe 9 out of 10. Mid game, I drop him a little bit lower, maybe about 7 out of 10, but not too much. He's still very relevant. He's even relevant in later games because you can build him if you have the rune efficiency. As your rune efficiency keeps going up, he just keeps getting better. So I would say he's a very good, probably top-notch early to mid game in the Ifrit family. Next one is a Chamomere, the Wind one. Mega Smash first hit, same thing. This is where it starts to change a little bit for the Ifrit family. He has Super Crush, attacks all enemies and stuns them with a 30% chance. The damage is proportionate to my max HP. So you deal more damage the more HP that you have. And then his third skill, Mach Crush, attacks all enemies with powerful magical energy. The damage increases by 30% for each harmful effect on the enemy. The damage increases by 50% if there's only one harmful effect on the enemy. So you're going to do extra damage with the more harmful effects you have on the enemy. You know, defense break, attack break, all this stuff adds up and he can keep doing damage. And he has attack speed leader skill, which is great among all areas. He just recently got a buff. He wasn't this good until the buff. Now he's even better. He does have 2 AoEs. So the fact that you can get this type of unit early game is really good. He's good in giants, not really good in dragons. I wouldn't put him there because of the element disadvantage. He can now. You can build him with you could before the buff, but even more so after the buff, you can build him with a nice little cleave comp. And cleave comps is, you know, like shield wheel cleaves. You can do extra damage as they get more buffs, defense buffs. Go ahead and put him with Galleon, who defense breaks everybody. He does Mega Smash. Mach Crush allows you to do a lot of damage. You can do some stuns if you have Despair. And then don't forget the attack speed lead throughout the entire game. Really good. I would give him early game, I'd give him a solid 6. Mid game, now with his buff, with extra damage, I'd probably bump him up to a nice 7, 7.5. Really good. Now, really good. He was decently good. Now he's really good. I think he's a good unit that people need to stop sleeping on. A Chamomere. Next up is Elsharion, the light one. The light one, early game, mid game, better, late game, solid. So Mega Smash, same as all of them. Triple Crush, he goes back to the defense break, so that's good. And then Master of Magic Power, his passive, steals one beneficial effect from the target and applies it to your entire team. Also increases your attack power by 30% for each beneficial attack effect you are granted with. And then he has attack power lead with 33%. So early game wise, I guess you can definitely use him in giants because as the giant gets attack buff, he can steal it and apply it to your entire team. So that's pretty solid. Dragons, he can steal the immunity and put it on your entire team, which allows you to not get those dots that they put on you. So that's also not bad. And then also mid game, he's definitely useful in Guild War, definitely useful in Siege. Can dabble if you have some good rooms in dabble into some RTA action. I would say early game a solid 7, mid game solid 7, later game he'll get a higher boost because you can start to utilize him in more areas, including R5 if you BJR5 if used correctly. So I'd say 7s across the board. Elsharion. Now we look at Veramos, the Dark Ifrit. Mega Smash, same as all of them. Super Crush has the same one as the Wind one with the attacks all enemies and stuns. His passive is unique, Conversion of Magic, removes a harmful effect except inability effects on all allies each turn, and the allies recover their HP by 3% for each harmful effect removed. So he's going to remove, every time it's his turn, you want to build him speedy, right? Every time it's his turn, he removes a harmful effect. As long as it's not like sleep or stun or freeze, things that are inability effects, he's going to remove them. That also helps your team heal. So if you happen to have some Violet Runes as you get into mid-game, he would be good for mid-game. He also, in case you're not able to consistently finish the runs in the Chaos dungeons, he has the HP leader skill of 33% to give you some more survivability. So that's also good as well. I would say him and the water one, Theomars, are probably the best ones early to mid-game because of the utility that they bring along with their power. He's good. He can help you in dragons by removing debuffs and whatnot. He's a good unit to have early game. Mid game, he kind of tapers off because there's other things that kind of does what he does well. They do it better, so he kind of tapers off. So early game, I would honestly put him at like a 7.5. Mid game, drop him down to probably about a 6-ish. So you know, he's good to have. Early game, like I said, as you get into mid game and definitely late game, he tapers off. So it's up to you whether or not you want to have him, but early on, definitely a keeper. So I think overall, if you look at the grand scale of things, remember this is early to mid game level. I think Theomars brings the most punch, the most utility to everything in the game, the most power to all of his attacks. And the fact that he can provide crit rate for early game to give your team your entire team the ability to crit more. He won't die on his first death hit, so it allows you to get that one last hit that might allow you to beat the dragon or the giant. I think he's the overall best one. What do you think, though? What do you think about the Ifrit family? Where do you see rankings early to mid game? Rankings among this family? Let me know in the comments down below. Remember, I drop videos on YouTube Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday are going to be Summoners War videos. Friday is going to be whatever I feel like uploading. Then I do stream on Twitch Tuesday to Friday. All those links are down in the description below. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And if you thumbs down, that's perfectly fine too. Just let your boy know why you thumb down so I can try to get better. Until next time, man, it's your boy JD the Gamer, and I'm out this thing. Peace.